In the heart of Boston, Emily, a dedicated nurse working at a bustling hospital, often found solace in her early morning walks through the nearby park. For her, it was a brief escape from the constant demands of her job, a chance to breathe and collect her thoughts before another long day. The crisp air, the soft rustling of leaves, and the rhythm of her footsteps were small comforts in her otherwise hectic life. One such morning, as she strolled along the familiar trails, she noticed a man sitting awkwardly on the grass near the running path. His face was twisted in pain as he clutched his ankle. Concerned, Emily hurried over to him. "Are you okay?" she asked gently, kneeling beside him. The man looked up, his expression a mixture of discomfort and relief. "I think I twisted my ankle," he said, wincing slightly. The man was Ryan, a successful businessman who had taken up running as his way to unwind from the pressures of managing his family's company. That morning, caught up in his thoughts, he'd misjudged his step and landed badly, leaving him stranded and unable to continue. Emily's professional instincts kicked in immediately. "Let me take a look," she said, examining his ankle carefully. She reassured him, "It doesn't seem broken, but you'll need to ice it and rest for a while." Ryan was taken aback by her calm demeanor and the genuine concern in her eyes. For a moment, he forgot about the pain in his ankle, captivated by the warmth of her presence. "Thank you," he said earnestly, his voice soft but filled with gratitude. "I don't even know what I would have done if you hadn't stopped." Emily smiled modestly. "It's part of the job," she replied with a small laugh. "I'm a nurse." This brief yet meaningful encounter left an impression on both of them. As Ryan hobbled to a nearby bench with Emily's help, he felt a surprising sense of gratitude, not just for her assistance, but for her kindness. Their paths crossed purely by chance, but neither of them realized that this small moment in the park would mark the beginning of something much bigger. Emily's life was always a whirlwind of responsibilities and challenges. As a nurse at a large hospital in Boston, she faced long shifts and the constant demands of caring for patients. Despite the exhausting workload, Emily's dedication to her job never wavered. For her, helping others wasn't just a profession, it was her purpose. Outside of work, Emily bore the weight of being the sole provider for her younger sister Mia, who was in her final year of college. After losing both their parents in a tragic accident when Emily was just stepping into adulthood, she took on the role of caregiver and provider. She worked tirelessly to cover Mia's tuition fees and ensure her sister had every opportunity to succeed. Though Emily appeared strong on the surface, she carried an undercurrent of loneliness and quiet sadness. Her early morning walks through the park were one of the few times she allowed herself to pause, reflect, and recharge. It was her personal space to think about her life and find a fleeting sense of peace amidst the chaos. Deep down, Emily longed for a meaningful relationship, someone to share her life with and understand the burdens she carried. Yet, every time she thought of opening her heart to someone, she hesitated, afraid that her busy life would leave no room for love. But between her demanding job and family responsibilities, she had never given herself the chance to seek happiness for herself. Little did she know that her chance meeting with Ryan would begin to change her perspective, not just on life, but on what she deserved from it. Ryan was a young, successful businessman, managing his family's renowned technology company. With his polished demeanor and impressive accomplishments, Ryan was admired by many. Yet beneath the surface, he carried a heavy burden that few people ever saw. As the eldest son in a prestigious family, Ryan constantly felt the weight of living up to his parents' and the board's expectations. His father, the company's founder, had always envisioned Ryan as his successor, someone who would expand on his legacy. The intense meetings, high-stakes decisions, and relentless pressure to uphold the company's reputation left Ryan with little room for himself. Although Ryan was passionate about his work and driven by innovation, he couldn't shake the feeling of suffocation caused by his family's tight oversight and their ever-watchful eyes. Running became his outlet, a way to temporarily escape the demands of his role and regain some sense of clarity. Despite his outward success, Ryan felt a deep loneliness. Material wealth and professional achievements couldn't fill the emotional void in his life. His past relationships often ended quickly, as he struggled to find someone who truly understood the pressures he faced. That morning, caught up in his thoughts during a routine run, Ryan misstepped and twisted his ankle. Sitting on the grass in pain, he felt a rare sense of vulnerability, but then Emily appeared. Unexpectedly and without hesitation, she came to his aid. Her kindness and care were like a breath of fresh air, something Ryan hadn't experienced in a long time. Their encounter wasn't just a coincidence. To Ryan, it felt like a sign, a reminder that sometimes the key to dealing with life's pressures isn't running away from them, but finding someone who can help you face them together. After their chance meeting in the park, Ryan couldn't stop thinking about Emily. The way she helped him, with such care and kindness, left him feeling connected to something deeper. Though their conversation had been brief, the sincerity in her words and the warmth in her eyes stayed with him long after. Determined to keep his promise of thanking her, Ryan reached out to Emily a few days later using the contact information she had given him after tending to his injury. He invited her out for coffee, not just to express his gratitude, but because he genuinely wanted to get to know her better. Their meeting at a small cafe in Emily's neighborhood felt natural. At first, there was a hint of awkwardness, but it quickly melted away as they began to talk. Emily shared stories about her life, her demanding job as a nurse, the challenges of balancing work with caring for her younger sister Mia, and the moments she felt overwhelmed but kept pushing forward because she believed it was the right thing to do. Sitting across from her, Ryan listened intently. He had never met anyone quite like Emily, someone who gave so much of herself to others without expecting anything in return. For the first time in a long while, he felt comfortable opening up about himself. He talked about the pressures of running a family business, the expectations his parents placed on him, and the loneliness he often felt despite his success. Through these conversations, Ryan began to see that Emily wasn't just strong, she was resilient, carrying burdens that few people her age could handle. He admired her deeply for it. Their conversations became a regular occurrence, whether it was a quiet walk in the park or a casual dinner after Emily's hospital shifts. Each meeting brought them closer. They learned more about each other with every passing moment, and their connection grew stronger. Ryan found himself wanting to be a better version of himself because of Emily. Her presence inspired him in ways he hadn't expected. For Emily, Ryan was an unexpected source of encouragement and understanding. He wasn't just a polished businessman, he was someone who truly listened, who empathized with her struggles and celebrated her efforts. Amidst their heartfelt conversations and simple moments together, something extraordinary was beginning to take shape, a bond built on mutual understanding and genuine respect. After their first meeting, Ryan couldn't get Emily out of his mind. He didn't just want to thank her, he wanted to get to know her better, to spend more time with her. With patience and sincerity, Ryan began to pursue Emily, determined to win her heart. Every morning, he would text her, asking if she wanted to go for a jog together. At first, Emily hesitated, but eventually she agreed. Their morning runs in the park became a cherished routine. They jogged along tree-lined paths, often teasing each other about who could run faster, though Ryan always playfully let her win. After each run, they would sit on a familiar bench, sipping the coffee Ryan always brought along, sharing stories about their lives, and laughing at each other's jokes. But their time together wasn't limited to morning runs. Ryan often invited Emily out on her rare days off. One day, they explored a small art exhibit downtown, where Ryan discovered Emily's quiet love for landscape paintings. Another day, they strolled along the riverbank, enjoying the breeze and the peaceful break from their busy lives. Ryan realized he had fallen for Emily. She wasn't just strong and independent, she had a warmth and kindness that made him feel at ease, something he hadn't felt in years. On a beautiful morning, with sunlight streaming gently through the trees, Ryan decided it was time to confess his feelings. After their usual run, they sat down on their favorite bench. His heart raced as he turned to Emily. "Emily," he began, his voice steady but tinged with nervousness. "I've been thinking about this for a while. These mornings with you, these moments we've shared, they've made me realize something. You make my life better in ways I never imagined. When I'm with you, it feels like the weight I've been carrying all these years finally starts to lift." Emily looked at him, her eyes wide with surprise but glowing with warmth. Taking her hand gently, Ryan continued, "I want to be someone you can trust, lean on, and share every joy and challenge with. Emily, "Will you be my girlfriend?" A smile spread across Emily's face, and she nodded softly. "Brian, I feel the same way. Being with you makes me feel valued and happy. So, yes, I'd love to." Relief and joy washed over Ryan, and he couldn't stop smiling. They looked at each other, knowing this was the start of something truly special. That morning, under the soft glow of the park's sunlight, their love story officially began, promising a future they would build together. As Emily and Ryan's relationship grew stronger, it became clear that things wouldn't always be smooth sailing. Despite their deepening bond, the differences in their lives and the pressures they each faced began to test their connection. For Emily, the weight of her responsibilities never truly eased. Her demanding job as a nurse required not only her time, but also a tremendous amount of energy. On top of that, she continued to shoulder the financial burden of supporting her younger sister Mia through college. Each day was a balancing act, managing her hospital shifts, running a household, and navigating her growing feelings for Ryan. She often questioned whether she was allowing herself to get too invested in the relationship, wondering if she could truly handle it all. Ryan, on the other hand, faced mounting pressures of his own. His father, the founder of their family company, was battling deteriorating health, and the board of directors was pushing Ryan to make critical decisions about the company's future. The constant stress left him struggling to give Emily the attention she deserved. Day after day, Ryan felt torn between his responsibilities at work and his desire to build something meaningful with Emily. So why didn't he just up and leave Gretchen and go back to work for his company? A turning point came when Ryan invited Emily to join him at a charity event organized by his company. It was a health workshop for families in need at a local community center. At first, Emily hesitated, unsure if she could spare the time, but Ryan persuaded her, emphasizing how meaningful it would be for them to do something impactful together. At the event, Emily and Ryan worked side by side as a team. Emily offered medical advice and assistance to families seeking help, while Ryan coordinated the logistics and ensured the event ran smoothly. Watching Ryan in action, so dedicated and compassionate, Emily realized that he wasn't just a successful businessman, he also had a deeply caring heart. The workshop was not only a success, but also a moment of clarity for both of them. It highlighted their shared values and the potential they had to support one another in meaningful ways. However, even as their feelings for each other grew stronger, the pressures in their lives didn't disappear. Both Emily and Ryan knew that if they wanted their relationship to thrive, they would need to confront their challenges head-on and learn how to lift each other up through it all. Ryan knew he couldn't keep avoiding the monumental responsibilities that awaited him. His father's health was deteriorating, and the board of directors continued to pressure him for critical decisions about the company's future. He had spent so long trying to sidestep these demands, but now he realized it was time to face them head-on. After the charity health workshop he and Emily had worked on together, Ryan began to seriously reflect on his next steps. He thought about what Emily had shared with him, her dedication to fulfilling her responsibilities for the people she loved. It inspired him to do the same, but this time, he wanted to approach it on his own terms, not simply out of obligation or pressure from others. Ryan decided to have a candid conversation with his father. In a heartfelt discussion, he expressed his willingness to take on the role of leading the company, but only if he could implement meaningful changes. He wanted to improve the work environment, focus on sustainable growth, and ensure the company embraced a balance between business goals and human values. Though his father initially resisted, he eventually recognized Ryan's determination and the logic behind his vision. Meanwhile, Emily became Ryan's unwavering source of encouragement. She reminded him that no one was perfect and that he didn't have to shoulder everything alone. For the first time, Ryan began to see that his responsibilities didn't have to feel like a burden. They could be an opportunity to create something meaningful, especially when shared with people who genuinely cared about him. Ryan's decision not only transformed the direction of the company, but also gave him a newfound sense of freedom. He initiated new projects, including community-focused initiatives like the health workshop he had organized with Emily. Ryan knew he couldn't have reached this point without Emily by his side. She had taught him that responsibilities weren't something to fear or avoid. They were part of what made life meaningful when shared with the right people. With Emily's support, Ryan embraced his role with purpose and clarity. Together, They faced the challenges ahead, not as two separate individuals, but as partners who believed in one another and in the life they were building together. On a crisp autumn morning, Emily and Ryan strolled along the familiar path in the park where their story began. Golden leaves gently fell around them, and birds chirped in the serene stillness. They didn't speak much, but the quiet comfort of their shared moment spoke volumes. Ryan slowed his pace and took Emily's hand. She looked at him, her gaze soft and full of trust, something she had never given anyone so completely before. "Emily," Ryan began, his voice steady but filled with emotion, "when I first met you, I never imagined how much my life would change. You've shown me that responsibilities aren't burdens. They're ways we show love and make a difference. I don't feel alone in this world anymore, and that's all because of you." Emily smiled, her eyes glistening with tears. "Ryan, I used to think my only purpose was to fulfill my duties and take care of others. But you've shown me that I deserve more than that. A partner, someone who believes in me and shares the weight of life's challenges." Ryan's lips curled into a heartfelt smile, and he reached into the pocket of his coat. From it, he pulled out a small velvet box. Opening it, he revealed a simple yet elegant ring, a reflection of their relationship, honest, genuine, and deeply meaningful. "I want to build a future with you, Emily," he said, his voice unwavering. "A future where we not only love each other, but also make the lives of those around us better. Will you walk this journey with me?" Emily's breath caught in her throat as tears welled in her eyes. She nodded, her smile radiant. "Yes, Ryan, I will." They embraced tightly, standing amidst the crisp morning air, as if the rest of the world had faded away. Challenges would come, as they always did, but neither of them would face them alone anymore. Ryan and Emily had found more than just love. They had found true companionship. Together, they knew they could overcome anything and build the life they had always dreamed of. Under the soft, golden sunlight, they walked hand in hand down the path, leaves crunching gently under their feet. Around them, the park buzzed with life. Children laughing, birds chirping, the faint rustle of the breeze. Their hearts were full of hope, their sights set on a future where love, trust, and partnership would always guide them.